What's up, everybody? In this video, I want to recap a trade that I took on the S&P 500, essentially using Bookmap and reading the tape, understanding the level 2 and time and sales to put the pieces together. And I also want to get into a couple other setups that we took in my Discord and we went over on the webinar yesterday to really support names like Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. Their moves today supported the trade that I took on the S&P 500 and even the NASDAQ. So I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to show you why I entered and basically the confirmation signals behind it and overall the full trading scenario. Then I'm going to get into some other trades that we took in my Discord community. But before we get into it, I'm going to link my Instagram in the description below. I definitely recommend you to follow this at InvestiTrade. I post daily trading recaps on here along with very good trading tips and tricks that I guarantee you aren't going to find anywhere else. Link is in the description below. You're seriously missing out if you're not following it. But now let's get right into this recap video. To get more context, let's go in the pre-market plan. I post these every single day in the Discord, setups I'm watching, levels I'm looking out for. So this was on the S&P 500. We had a couple of zones of interest. The first one was this 45.49 supply zone to about 45.55. I said the first thing I'm watching is if we could get above this supply zone with strong buying volume confirmed by the tape, I'm open to scalping calls targeting the supply zone above. And we had to keep a close eye on the tape as we may see sellers step in who were active from Thursday's sell-off and rallies might get sold into. And I said we must remain bullish as I don't think a large sell-off will come above the demand zone, not only at 45.28, but also this green box down here at 45.09. So why this supply zone at 45.49 was so important was overnight we hit it 2 times, or actually we hit it 4 times. And this was at 45.49. And if you guys remember from Friday's action, I'm going to make this bigger here. There was a large seller from Thursday's sell-off, 5,400 lots. I think I even made it in my last recap video about this. That's over $1.3 billion being sold into the E-mini at 45.50. So moving forward with such large size, I haven't seen that big of size in a while. This 4550 area was an important reference area, and this also lined up to be what a supply zone. So we had 2 confluences, one from the sell-off on Friday or on Thursday, and also supply that was formed on Friday that we were hitting multiple times and rejecting. So ideally, what I wanted to see if I was bullish was either a bounce off demand or a strong rally overtaking the supply zone, confirmed by the tape. I've been using Bookmap a lot recently to really confirm the strength from buyers above the 4550 area to get that seller underwater. However, one thing I really want to mention is sometimes the market presents opportunities that we plan out for, or sometimes we don't plan out for. So I'm going to go to a 1-minute chart here, and I have a live video of what I saw on the tape and why I took the market long. So essentially, this wasn't in the pre-market plan. This is really not something I was watching, but how I view the market and how I trade is I react to what it gives me. What I saw on Bookmap today when the market opened up was, here's the, I'll show you the open. So the market opened up, and we saw a clean sell-off. Right where my cursor's at right now is 9:30 Eastern when the bell rang and we started selling off. One thing I want to note down here is from the session volume profile, there was a very large imbalance to buy orders at 45.35. And this is due to the overnight action around 3 a.m., very large buying coming in as the market is selling off. And as we are bouncing off of, show you over here, this 45.28 demand zone, right? Over here, when we bounced off it, we moved up, we hit supply, and as we were selling off and heavy volume was coming into the market, 45.35, there was very large interest. As we could see, some very large aggressive buy orders coming through at 45.35, over 3,800 lots at this area. So fast forward to when the market opened up. At 9:30, we started selling off and we immediately found a bid. Now, to add onto this setup, and really what kind of put the cherry on top was We were watching a couple other things. I even said this in the webinar that we did on Sunday, the day prior to this, that I really want to see equities support this thesis. So another name that we had on watch was Tesla. We are watching for this to get above 1100 into 1115 and test the 1076 demand zone and try to bounce out of it. If this is true and we have a strong rally, I'm going to be watching to play calls. Keep in mind NASDAQ and the S&P 500. This is a major market leading stock. And really what supported the thesis for my calls on SPY, which I'm going to show you my exact entry, part of it and which kind of added more context and confluence to the setup, and like I said, kind of put the cherry on top, was Tesla was moving down into demand and we were trying to catch a bid. Meanwhile, NASDAQ was extremely, it was rallying extremely hard. Some beautiful buying volume, invalidating supply like it wasn't even there. And we had strong confluence by not only NASDAQ rallying, that was point number one. Point number two was Tesla was coming off of demand. Apple was extremely strong. Nvidia was also very strong. Microsoft, extremely strong with it. So when I see equities showing this type of strength, and I see a name like the S&P maybe pulling back into an area that we found buyers prior, or even NASDAQ rallying inside of supply, the equities move the market. You know, the markets basically is a big pool of these major market leading equities. And if these equities are showing strength, then we got to look where we can maybe play long on the overall indices. So as the market came down into that 45-35 area and seeing these other names bounce and start to rally, I really became attracted to this setup. So this is a live recording of Bookmap, and you could see down here, let me pause it, the 35 or 45-35 area, there was a huge imbalance to the buy side, over 3,700 lots. And as the market hit it and broke below it briefly, we immediately reclaimed it. And you see this volume right here as we started moving up through that 45-35 area. That's what really gave me valid confirmation to take calls. I played the SPY. Let me pull it up here. I posted my fills in the Discord. I played the SPY 454 calls at 65 cents at 9.35. So I'm in this trade right now. We pull back. Keep in mind, think about it from an auction standpoint, or if you're a really big buyer in the market. Let's just say we're in 3,000 lots of the S&P 500 at 45.35. You're going to want to do whatever you can to kind of defend that buy order or defend your position, that if we do pull back into it, maybe you're passively buying on the bid, maybe you're a hidden buyer, or maybe as people are hitting the bid, we are might be hitting the offer and trying to bring the market higher and defend that position. As you can see, we had a nice liquidity down here at 45.32. 150 lots. But every time we hit this 45.35, we would get an immediate reaction. Price would come back up, and it looked like someone was just absorbing the 35 or 45.35 area. And every time we pulled back into it, look what happened. So here's the next pullback. Immediately got defended. Look at the buying volume that starts coming in to the upside. Price jumps up. Buying volume starts coming in. And we're defending that 45.35 very well. So now I'm in this trade long. We dip right back into it. Look at that dip. Look what happens at 45.35. Nothing. We never traded below it. And even if we did trade below it, we would get buy orders to come back above. Really, look at this. Look at this activity that's going on at 45.35 right now. Come down into it. Really are struggling to get below. Then the market starts coming up, and I'm feeling really, really good about this trade. So this was at 9.35 to 9.40. At the time of entry, the market kind of looked like this. So just looking at the candle chart, right? We're not at demand. We are downtrending. We had a morning sell-off. We're below VWAP. We're below the open. But reading the tape and understanding what's really going on behind the candles, you would have seen some nice buying activity go on that you couldn't see from a standard candlestick chart. So when I entered, the market looked like this. stop loss below the low of that liquidity at 45.32. I was risking about 4 or 5 points to potentially make, if we hit the 49 supply, about 13 points. So pretty good risk to reward. Then the market comes down. Here's the 3 other times that we tested that 35 area. And then the beautiful part about this is look what happens when we started taking off. If I'm in a long position, watch the buying that starts coming in. It just happened very fast and in a volatile manner. Look at the buying that starts coming in. Happens fast. Maybe you could get in right now if you didn't get in prior to this, right? Maybe we start seeing some buying coming in. Another nice imbalance that formed. Maybe we could get in right now if we're not in prior, right? But look at the volatility that just starts coming into the market. Look at the buying that's just shoots right into the market. And this is what you want to see compared to what we saw last week. If you see my last video about the volatility, there was no volatility last week. And we didn't see action that was this clear and easy to read, and it was very fluent with volume. But today in the first, I would say maybe about an hour, we saw some nice volatility, beautiful buying that just came in. And now that I'm in this position, it's consolidating, no reason to sell. Absolutely no reason to sell. We dip down. And at this point, I'm in down here at 45.37. As long as we maintain above that 45.35 area, I got absolutely no reason to panic. We dip down, heavy selling starts coming into the market, and then immediately gets bought up. Watch this, ready? Heavy selling coming into the market, all sell prints, and then immediately bought up. Look at the tape here. Watch the speed of this. This is what I mean about watching the speed. Come up. Watch when we break above the high at 45.43. Look at the volume. Starting to build. Price is trading pretty fast. We're not moving like a turtle crossing the road. And then a boom. That's the speed you want to see. Clean break. Awesome move on this. See how fast price is printing in real time? That's the type of volatility you want to see. We start consolidating near the highs. And then we hit the 4550 supply zone. And I scaled out my position. I was in at 65 cents. I sold some at 9.52 when we hit the prior to the supply, just to protect myself because of the lack of volatility recently in the market, at 93 cents. And then I sold some of the rest at 9.55 when we hit supply, when we broke above it to protect myself even more. And at 9.56, I'm out my full position when we break above supply. Beautiful volatility, beautiful volume, and we basically almost bottom ticked the low today. And this really, the main context backing this was of the underlying equities kind of supporting the thesis, NASDAQ being strong. And one thing I do want to mention here, this is a quick little tip. In the pre-market, in the intraday commentary tab, this is basically where I update my thought process throughout the day. We saw basically a seller absorbing a bunch of buy orders at 45.56. So I want to show you what this looks like. And also what I want to say is, remember the pre-market plan, how I said I wanted to get a play long on a strong break above this supply? Well, sometimes we have to deviate and cancel our plans, or at least make a little detour and fix it. Because of such a strong rally in a fast, it was very fast and it happened pretty quickly and suddenly. I wasn't interested in, playing calls above the 4555 area that I said in the pre-market plan. If I were to chase calls up here, I would have got destroyed. From a risk to reward standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And from an auction standpoint, chasing after an extended move like this with the context that we saw earlier, it could have worked, but from a risk to reward standpoint, I was not a fan. So that's why sometimes deviate away, react to what the market gives you, and it could help you. It'll save your ass, and it also will make you sometimes get into really good positions that you never thought about getting into. So at 45.56, I want you all to see what happens here. There was a seller basically absorbing a bunch of orders. So without looking at the full replay, keep in mind the 4556 area. Look at the large green aggressive buy orders that came through at 4556. yet price could not move any higher. Watch every time we come into it. See if I can get the timing well here. Look, we're in 4556. More buy orders come in, and we're really failing to get above it. Another one that came in right here. Watch the buy order that came through. Let's see if we could get how many lots it was. It was over 80 or 90 lots on a quick jump up like that. And there wasn't 90 even lots on the inside offer at that moment. So there was definitely a hidden seller basically absorbing all the liquidity. Look at all the large bubbles at the high at 45.56. If you watch price develop in real time, look, another one. Look at the offer right now. It's reloading. He's reloading his position, showing more size passively on the offer, and all the aggressive buy orders that's coming through. Look at this. We can't get above it. There's not a lot of large passive sellers sitting there, but every time we see a green aggressive buy order come into it, those sellers are reloading. They're adding size to their passive order, and we briefly saw a passive seller near the highs, and this is a red flag. If we were in long with me, and we see this type of action, maybe get out your position right here or sell 90% of it. Or if we were looking to get long, nah, we're not getting long right now because of that absorption up there at the highs. And this was a good move. Look what happens when we test it again. About 5 minutes later, immediate reaction, immediate dump from that. This is just a very big red flag, and we had a nice sell-off because of that. Beautiful sell-off, and the dip down got bought into VWAP. So read the tape, understand the clues that the market's giving you. We consolidated all afternoon. Volatility kind of died out. So look at the movement in the morning, in the first about half hour, compared to everything else. In the first half hour, we moved in a 25-point range. Whereas after that, all day, by the time I'm recording this, we've only moved in a 14-point range. So that just goes to show you how the volume and volatility was much higher at the morning. And now, according to the pre-market plan, yeah, we're above that 4.556 area, and we're hitting our target end of day. This could be a good place to exit some longs, protect ourselves from a nice uptrending low volume rally. And in my opinion, I think if you didn't enter earlier in the morning, anything else after that would have worked and could have worked, but there wasn't a lot of volatility and it wasn't as easy to read as what it was in the morning. Dips kept getting bought into demand pretty well that formed intraday, and it was just clean movements today. I took a very good trade. It was over 50% on my last fill off very simple analysis. And Tesla, I didn't take this myself because I was focusing on ES, but we did that webinar yesterday, and these levels were on watch, and it bounced at it perfectly and had a strong rally with beautiful volume and basically supporting the overall market with it as well. So I hope this video helped. I hope you all understand basically, how I trade a little bit more. Context is a very important part to the puzzle, and using the market and understanding how to read price and volume is a skill that really could take you far in the market. And it's not going to come easy, but over screen time and experience and understanding what to look for at the right moments, I think is very vital and very key. So I'm going to end it on that note. Comment if you have any questions, drop a like, and definitely check out the links in the description below. I offer a very in-depth and educational course that will come with access to the Discord at no extra charge. But I'm ending it. Peace out.